This song is fairly played out, but I still love this. So it's straight up 2 p.m. Sunday, November 9th, 2023, and I'm officially late to work, but I just got off the phone with Anthony. I have never been one to call in there and let anybody know that I'm running late or gonna be late, but normally that's because I'm sound asleep on the days that I'm late, or I'm so close to being on time that I figure it's just easier to focus on just getting there as quick as I can and not worry about making a call, and most of the time it just seems to go unnoticed. Wow, there's like a whole homeless encampment going on right there at the bus stop on the right. Yeah, busting up the zone is definitely just spread that shit out. The homeless people are not gone. I did like the way that on the Gatos and Chad show, I still want to say Mac and Gatos every time I think of that show. Oh, his show is not as good without Mac Watson either, by the way. At least I don't think so. But yeah, listening to Gatos and Chad the other day, and I did include that, I think, in my vlog. The way they mentioned that all those people saying that they had accepted housing and all these rosy numbers that Phoenix gave when they managed to clear the zone on time is probably painting a rosy picture that isn't very believable nor very accurate. And there's a good chance that many of those people that may have taken housing on that date, which was what, 2 weeks ago-ish? That many of those people might not even be in housing anymore. That the housing that they took was just a night in a shelter, or a couple nights in a shelter. And the way many of the people who lived in the zone like to live, the shelter's not a good fit. And it's been more than enough time for those people to decide, yeah, I don't want to be in the shelter. I don't want to be in this halfway house. I don't want to be under restrictive curfew rules. To be fair, for me, when I was homeless, that was the restrictive rule that I couldn't live with. Now, for many of them, it's restrictive policies regarding drugs. They, wherever they're chilling, spending their time, they want to be able to do drugs. Wow, she looks like she'd clean up nice. Oh, yeah, I'm that level of craving a woman right now. It's bad when it happens to me, but we're certainly not taking care of business, and that's what I'm looking at from behind and having wild thoughts. Anyway, yeah, for a lot of people it's the drug usage, but I know for many homeless people, they've got a significant other, and wherever they bed down for the night, they want to be able to curl up with their woman and make love to their woman in the evening, make love to their woman in the morning. That's something they want to do where they sleep. And they'd rather be able to do that in a tent than not do that in a shelter. That was usually reason number 2 for me not wanting to be in a shelter. That was a toss between number 2 and number 3. Number 1 for me was always, that's a creative cut across the core area. Thanks for that, asshole in a Jeep who doesn't know how to use his turn signal. Really doesn't know how to use his turn signal. 2 unsignaled lane changes right in front of me from the same guy that cut me off by going through a core area. Beautiful. There is more traffic right here than I anticipated there being. I didn't look at the traffic view. I was just thinking, it's Sunday. Sunday afternoon. I should have no issues with traffic going through the mini-stack. Not that I need to worry about being late. As I mentioned earlier, I just got off the phone with Anthony and just thought I'd give him a heads up, and he was really cool about it. Seemed to appreciate the call. I just know Anthony's been running the show lately on Sundays, and we've been super short-handed on Sundays. When I get in there, I do need to hit him up about what the status is of me being able to get overtime today. I'm going to get back to my weird tangent about homelessness, because that was something that needs to be addressed, and also about my experiences with homelessness. Wow, it is gridlock all the way from here to the mini stack. I would imagine that's probably due to the I-10 being closed through the curve. If I was to guess what the deal was, and it was like this yesterday. Probably closures in other areas in the freeway system, and I'm just going on just likely. I haven't looked at the Google traffic view to see what's closed, but if the I-10 going through the curve is closed, and if the 143 is closed, then yeah, this is what's going to result on the 202 with all that traffic getting diverted over here. The funny thing is now it's starting to move as I'm ready to bail at 32nd Street. So, yeah, I would have been MLS on time, which is to say within, give or take, 5-10 minutes of the time I was scheduled, which is 2 o'clock. Except for I forgot that I came in from work last night, well, early this morning, with my car on fumes. And I once again got my Costco card declined at Costco. So I don't know what the status of that card is. I know the payment went through at the beginning of the month, because I went to, at least I'm pretty sure that payment went through. I went to Chase Bank and had a teller print me out a list of my recent transactions, and it showed the payment to Costco going through. So that should have at least freed up enough for me to get a tank of gas, but somehow it hasn't. Anyway, I used my Chase business debit. I'm kind of in that gray area. I think I have enough money to cover all my expenses coming at the end of the month, and of course the biggest one being rent. But it's going to be insanely tight, so I didn't top off the tank. I just got 6.9 gallons, which is well over half a tank. It was $3.29. Good job. $22.79 of that. So always a challenge for the people who live below the poverty line to keep gasoline in their cars. Usually not a challenge for me, but it has been lately. And of course, the frustrating thing is what I like to call the poor tax, which are advantages that people that aren't poor get that people who are poor don't. And one of those advantages that I usually manage to get is well, in fact, I'm getting a Costco price on gas is actually good. Most poor people can't even afford a Costco membership, so I got that covered. But using my Costco card, I would have got 4% back on that gas purchase. And yeah, just lost out on that. 4% of $22 is more math than I could do while sitting at a red light. Well, 10% is $2, so $2.20. So, granted, 4% isn't much. It's not an amount that moves the needle, but it's an amount I'm not getting. So there's that. Yeah, I need to get on top of that and figure out what the hell's going on. I did not expect that to be declined today. Last time I got gas, I did expect it to be declined, but this time, absolutely not. So anyway, back to the homeless thing. Yeah, I never did go into a shelter any of the times I was homeless. Number one reason being curfew rules. I'm a night person. I typically work at night. I typically enjoy my social life at night. I'm typically awake at night. I'm a day sleeper. I have been since I was a kid. And by kid, I want to say senior in high school. I was actually in a program in my high school where I was able to come into school about halfway through the school day because I had a job and I was getting school credit for my job. And of course I used that to sleep in the day. Well, a lot of homeless shelters don't let you do that. You have to be in by a certain time and you have to be out by a certain time, and that doesn't jive with what is my long-established sleep pattern. So yeah, that's number one. Number two has been a toss-up. And sometimes it was, as I stated, not being able to be with a significant other who was either homeless at the time or had a roommate kind of situation. Or, of course, significant other of the night. That wasn't an option in the shelters either. So, yeah, that was often number two. Now, after my divorce, when I went through homelessness and I was fighting for custody of Allison, that took a back seat to me wanting to be able to have my daughter. And I had overnight parenting time with her on Friday nights, and most shelters don't allow that. Now, we did once try to get into a family shelter, the UMOM family shelter in Van Buren, and they ended up denying us because I didn't have Allison 24/7. I needed shelter where I could have her on the time that I did have her. I also had her pretty much all day on Wednesday back then, and all day on Saturday. I kept her until pretty late on Saturday evening. Got her on Friday afternoon. So yeah, if I have to give up the amount of parenting time that I have fought for with my child and can't live with my child during the time that the not even enough time I'm allotted with my child to go into a shelter, no, I'm not doing it. I'll figure out something else. And generally speaking, the whole time I had Allison, I was able to do couch surfing and find somewhere to stay. Family that otherwise didn't want me staying with them while I was homeless was always down to have me there with Allison on the time I had Allison. It's like, family that wouldn't want me sleeping on the couch the rest of the week would be like, hey, if you got Allison this weekend, by all means, please come over. Make sure she got a roof over her head, and y'all eat good on Friday. So, love to go more into that story. That isn't even where I was planning on going on this drive, but I'm at work and I need to focus on that. So I just rolled through the shop to see if I could talk briefly with Barry and find out if he's the one that approves. Oh, there goes my It's windy out today, dang. Wanted to see if he's the one that approves my overtime, but he was in the middle of a meeting with Chris, who is a shop manager underneath him, and one of the cooler mechanics that I work with, and obviously I didn't want to interrupt that, but they all said hi to me as I walked by, so that's worth something. I know that MLS needs to get some kind of approval from Hertz, and just wanted to find out where it comes from, and I figure if anybody's likely to know and have influence on that that's beneficial to me, it would be Barry. So today, perfect example of why I love this job so much. So I started my day, and mind you, I didn't handpick this car. I picked this car because it was the closest one that I saw that didn't have any obstacles for me getting it out from the other cars and heading up to the flip ramp. But it's a, let me check the year on the key tag. 2021 Infiniti Q50. This is a damn nice car. And I started my day by cranking up the radio, realizing the first two presets were set for static and setting them for KTAR and 92.7, the oldie station that used to be on AM, but I think they dropped their AM simulcast. It's functionally Steve Goddard's radio station, enabling the HD radio. Got no one that was disabled, but if it's on there, it needs to be enabled because HD radio is awesome. And yeah, like what a fun drive coming up here in this. So I just saw something on the way up here that I wanted to share with y'all. But yeah, like just the drive up here in this car. You know, is it mine? No, I drive it for like 2 minutes. But yeah, just the drive up here in this was a solid reminder of just why I like this job so much. By the way, 2:23 p.m. At least that's what the Infiniti says. Flip wrap, kind of full. Yeah, I do like to park the cars tight, but not so tight I can't walk through them. And yeah, that looks like the guy in the Jeep hit the guy in the guy driving the Jeep hit the Toyota. There was no guy in that Toyota. What am I saying? But yeah, there's close and then there's too close, and that was 2 in a row that are too close. That one didn't touch, but this is what I was wanting to show. Oh, you guys better not have scratched up the front. My Hyundai. This is that gold Elantra I mention every now and then. That is a shade of gold that Hyundai never sold them in. One of my coworkers, the new guy on maintenance, told me he thinks it's hideously ugly, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, good. That's just bird shit. Worried somebody did a Defender. When that car goes to retail, I might inquire about it. I've driven that car several times and I really like it. And it's just got such a unique look to it in that color. So I got 4 cars sitting in the Hertz maintenance line here. I could have sworn when I came up I saw 5. I didn't really spend that much time sitting in the Infiniti before heading out. I did spend a little bit more time than normal though, because I wanted to look at the key chain. See what we got here. 9-stop damage. Yeah, body damage ain't even open today, so not wasting any time on that. Let's see what's at the front of the line. I'm not playing with any creative parallel parking to get out either. Rear right tire needs air. All right, let's go into the tire line. I'm sure the tire line is active right now. Fix my damn hat. I didn't realize how windy it was. and yeah, walking into the shop, my fucking hat just blew right off. Just boom, gone. Which is why I keep the strap on it, even though the strap annoys the shit out of me sometimes. Oh man, that thing's annoying me. Ugh. Name tag was stuck up on my man bun. I got a man bun going on right now. It's not a look I'm into, but just sometimes I need a way to contain my hair. And the man bun, which is not a look I'm fond of in the slightest, fits inside the hat. Keep the hair up in the hat, and when it's this windy, gotta cinch that up. And as much as I'm not fond of that, it is the lesser evil of having my hat blow off. So as I was saying, tire line is oh, half drank bottle of water. Any other goodies in here? 2 crayons. Probably won't make the effort to keep those, but I might. Somehow I don't think when Lily eventually comes home, she's going to be too concerned about her crayons. Oh, look. Oh, you guys are here. Somebody said you was in one of these cars listening to Jeffrey Osborne jerking off. Is that true? No, that is not true. I was in an Infiniti over there listening to the Doors jerking off. I don't jerk off to Jeffrey Osborne. Who's telling fucking lies about me? Like Jeffrey Osborne? No, nothing like Jeffrey Osborne. You look more like Jeffrey Osborne. Fuck you. Hey, Andre and Collie. Good times. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fun day. I can tell. I'm glad to be here. I miss it when I'm gone for 2 days. So on the way through the office, when I clocked in, I forget what time I clocked in, but it's suddenly deemed irrelevant. Rob was actually in the office. I was able to have a quick conversation with him. I asked him if he was able to get approval for me for overtime, and he's like, no overtime. I said, well, my concern is, he goes, are you scheduled for today? I said, yes. My concern is that if I've had 2 nights that I've been asked to stay late to finish stuff, and if I work the remainder of my shift tonight, I'm going to go probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours into overtime. And he said not to worry about that. I'm good to go for that. But other than that, no overtime. So a little disappointed. I was really hoping I would get him to approve for me to stay until midnight 30, because I'm 100% confident that it's going to be busy enough to justify me being here all night. But Rob was pretty clear in his directions that I'm going to stay till the end of my scheduled shift, so 10:30.
Of course. You know, it wasn't.
I know.
It's
No,
a friend thing. You know,
it's good to see you.
Because you saying that you threw the Jeffrey Osborne at me. Yeah, you threw it at me.
That was just so. You walked right into that.
Yeah, I did. I got that.
There's a difference between racial jokes and racist jokes, and he did walk right into that one. Oh. We got a telematics car parked on the right side of the gatekeeper. And it looks like there's a telematics line going in front of me on the right with 3 cars in it, including a Kia EV6 that has all its lights on. I better just check that Kia EV6 before we have a dead EV out here on the lot.
The passport is in the pocket of the duffel bag I took to Mexico.
It's the Black Friday sale.
Too many ads.
Get a King
Now that's what's up. Oh, and it's over. Turned it to XM, it came right on to first wave, and I caught the last couple seconds. And moving in stereo by the cars. But now we got Love Plus One by Haircut 100, which is also a pretty awesome song that I haven't heard in a while. So right now the kickouts are starting to overflow the area for the kickouts. And I am on my own, just barely. So grabbing a Ford Edge with over 21,000 miles on it and moving it to the dollar returns, assuming there's room. The dollar returns were kind of backed up the last time I was up there, but it's been a little while. This will give me a chance to check up on the dollar maintenance line, which I haven't seen in quite some time, and to see what's going on over there. So Collie kind of on my shit list right now. While rolling around with him and Andre, which for the most part was awesome. Trying to negotiate this uncontrolled area. The whole crew of uptown drivers going in front of me, and I'm just letting them go. Except for the guys driving the van. I mean, theoretically, I should have the right of way. I'm going straight right there, and they're all turning left, but yeah, they're trying to work at a faster pace than I am, and I'm not trying to have an accident today. Asserting traffic rules in a place where traffic rules legally don't even apply. So, yeah, working fine with Collie and Andre. And at one point I moved a vehicle, kind of small SUV crossover thing, down to retail, which, by the way, they've greatly reduced the retail area. It's all just one row now, and God, people cannot figure out how to park in it. That's a separate tragedy. So anyway, I hear the sound that I've learned to identify as a substantial amount of water bottles in the back, and there was. This time they were in a paper shopping bag, which was falling apart. But yeah, I don't know how many, but I would say between a third and a half a case, which is a substantial amount of bottled water. So anyway, I moved that into the back seat of the Shag that Collie was driving. continue to work alongside him and Andre. Andre bounced out at 3:30. And I want to say probably, and then Collie and I worked together, and that was fine. Collie reminds me a lot of Mr. Magoo, and I actually got that from pointing out to
Classic alternative. Orbiting the 80s.
oh my god, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm just gonna have to lounge and listen to this for a little bit. Love this song.
I picture a rainbow. You held it in your hands. I had flashes. But you saw the plan. I wandered out in the world for years. But you just stayed in your room. I saw the present.
You saw the whole of the moon.